Frustrated because your metabolism is slowing down or it has come to a complete halt in perimenopause and menopause? Listen up. That's what we're talking about today. I'm here to give you hope. Good morning. I am Tanya Gustafson, your board-certified nutritionist, hormone coach, and behavior specialist, helping women take back control of their health, hormones, weight, and roll back those menopause symptoms that the world's been telling you need to accept and you don't. So I totally understand if you have slow metabolism, if you want to know what type of metabolism or what type of, what your body type is and how your metabolism is affected by that. Go back and watch yesterday's live because I talk about all of that. But today I just want to dive into a little bit of my story because almost my whole teenage and young adult life, I remember saying, oh, my metabolism is so slow. My metabolism is so slow. I can't possibly, I couldn't, oh my gosh, if I ate like that person, I would weigh 300 pounds. Like, there's just no way. And I always just thought it was because, that was just me, that was just the way I was born. That was just actually, we thought maybe it was because my mom used to overfeed me as a baby. My dad said he just was like, oh my gosh, she just fed you so much. Maybe that slowed down your metabolism. When in actuality, you can't overstuff a baby. They're not going to eat anymore when they're just not going to eat anymore. They're going to push it away. They're going to spit it up, whatever. Like, they're just not going to overeat, right? Anyway, we kind of thought it was that for a while. And then as I learned and started, diving into this industry as a profession many years ago, I really realized that wasn't it. It was because I wasn't eating enough as an adult, as a teenager, as a young adult. I was eating very little and just believing that, that's all I needed, and I wasn't really extra. I wasn't starved. Like, I didn't feel like I was starving. But what happens, and I tell this, this is a conversation I have with many women because they'll tell me, well, aren't you only supposed to eat when you're hungry? And but I'm not hungry in the morning, or I'm not hungry, hardly all day, so I'll skip lunch. It's okay. It doesn't really bother me. I'm okay with that. The thing is, if you have done that on repeat, your body will stop sending the signals because you're ignoring it. And because you're not dying, you're still getting your stuff done every day. You're still up, moving around and living life. It's not really giving a danger signal to your body. It's, you're gaining a few pounds maybe here and there. And as you get older, that weight's going to start to accumulate even more and more and more. But it's not, you're not of imminent threat to death. So it's not, that hunger signal's not coming back on as readily as it should. And so when I first learned about using food to create hormonal balance and stabilize blood sugar, I knew that I probably wasn't eating enough protein. I had enough knowledge there. We were learning, I was in the fitness industry. I've been in the fitness industry, health and fitness industry since 1986, but it was about this much about health and about that much about, fitness and all the things. And it all involved exercising more, cutting your calories, maybe working out fasted, things like that to help people lose weight, right? Because that's why people came to the fitness industry. It was either you wanted to bodybuild or you wanted to lose weight. That was pretty much it, And now we're more focused on the health of it. Women are going to the gym to build muscle on purpose because we understand now that that's just not something that's aesthetically, that we want to look good, but we need that muscle for our health and for our longevity and for our bone structure and for cognitive function and all those things. We understand now, or more people are coming to understand that we need to do things like that. Whether you're at the gym or whether you're at home or using your own body weight or whatever it is, we need to do things that involve strength and resistance so that, we can maintain that muscle mass as we age because it starts to deteriorate, around 35 or whatever. So if we're not protecting it, we're losing it. But those old teachings, those old habits, that dogma that's out there, for a lot of us that grew up in the, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, That's right. That's been ingrained in us, that if you want to lose weight, you got to cut, right? You got to cut your calories. You got to, track them. You got to not eat carbs. You got to avoid those fat grams, like just eat less, work out fasted, maybe do a couple days a week of intermittent fasting, or take out those food groups. It's always around pulling something away, something that your body needs. Now think about this, right? We have food groups because there's nutrients in every group. And so if we're pulling out a group like carbohydrates or something, if we're pulling them all out, then we are missing out on those vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. Like carbs, for example, is our energy source. Do we need the cereals and the cookies and the donuts and things that are in a package, box, bag, can, or wrapper? No. But we do need all of our fruits and vegetables, all of those bright, richly colored things, because that's where, like I said, all our vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients come from. So if we're skipping all of those and not eating those things, I know there's some science out there, but think about things logically. Where are you going to get those vitamins from? Where are you going to get those nutrients from if you're not actually putting them in? So thanks to food for thought, right? But back to my story, it was like, that's what I was buying into. So I wasn't skipping out on my fruits and vegetables. I was eating those, but I was always very conscious of my calories. I was writing down on sticky notes. I was only, eating a certain amount every day. And if I went over, then I would sort of subtract the next day, or I would work out harder the next day. And I was avoiding the fat. I was eating very little fat. And you need fat for your brain health. You need fat to balance your blood sugar, right? It helps to slow down and regulate that blood sugar as opposed to the spikes and crashes. So if you're not having some of these components, your body has to fight a lot harder to try and bring itself back into balance. And when it's done that on repeat for years and years and years, it gets exhausted and your metabolism starts to slow down, right? Because at some point, if you're not feeding it enough, it has to feed off of a dense protein source in your body, and that only dense protein source in your body available is your muscle. So sometimes we are working against ourselves. We think we're doing something really good, but we're actually working against ourselves, and that's where I was at. And so when I first learned about blood sugar stabilization, like I said, I was really kind of at that point now realizing that I was probably not eating enough protein, but how do I get more in? I was like, okay, well, I'm eating, how do I get some more in my day all the time, And so I was playing around with that. And then I finally was attending a health and wellness event and heard a speaker talk about blood sugar stabilization and what you needed to do that, your proteins, fats, and carbs together in the right portions and the right frequencies throughout the day. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was fascinated. I went to talk to him. He's been my good friend now for many years. And it just was, it was the missing piece. And as soon as I implemented that, so picture this now, I've been doing all of these, dieting behaviors for many, many years, thinking that I'm doing the right thing, right? Not even thinking I'm dieting, but thinking I'm doing the right thing for my body, thinking it's healthy, focusing on healthy foods, which was good, just not eating enough, which was not great, and depriving myself in other ways. And so when I learned this and I started turning that around, as a woman in perimenopause, it took only 2 weeks to drop 2% body fat, like to lose body fat in my 40s. And I know if that's shocking to you, I know that was shocking to me too, right? Because that doesn't happen for women in their 40s. That's usually when everyone's complaining about how everything is stuck and how the weight is packing on. And oh my gosh, how can I get rid of this? And what's going on in my body, right? Whereas mine was now reversing and doing the exact opposite and losing weight and getting stronger and toning, more toned. I was gaining strength. I was able to do things when I hit my 50s that I wasn't able to do in my 20s and 30s. My health had increased dramatically. I'd gotten rid of arthritis that I had for over 20 years because I had, my body was not fighting anymore. It was able to heal. I got rid of the inflammation. So many wonderful things had happened because I was able to use food to create hormonal balance and stabilize my blood sugar, to turn on my metabolism, reduce my inflammation, And then later I started intentionally working on healing my gut. Like, it started in that way, because as soon as you start reducing your inflammation, your gut is much happier to begin with. But then when you put some intentionality behind it, you really notice some amazing results. And so, like I said, I'm 58 now. I am able to do things in my 50s physically that I wasn't able to do in my 20s and 30s. I'm much healthier in my 50s than I was my entire life, up to, the time I started doing this, started learning this approach in my early 40s. And so for the last 18 years, I've been pain-free from arthritis. It's been gone. My immune system has been amazing. Complete and total 180 from where it was before. And I've been able to increase strength and not lose muscle mass as I've gotten older, not gaining weight as I've gotten older. So all of these things, because I stopped depriving my body and I started giving it what it needs, and I was able to speed up my metabolism. Okay, so I hope that's giving you, I really wanted to come in here today with my story to give you hope, because if you're a woman who's like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to have to live with this, I've got the squishmallow around the middle, like, hello, what's going on? No, you don't. No, you don't. It's why I left my career in education, to help women, to help everyone know that they can improve their health as they age, really, but to focus in now on women in menopause, to let you know that not only can you lose weight without dieting, but you can roll back those menopause symptoms as well without dieting, without crazy interventions. You can make significant and meaningful changes in your health and in your life doing this. And that's exactly why over the years I have put together the Fit Menopause Method, because it's really something, it's the only approach really out there that's focused and dialed in for women in perimenopause and menopause, to help you take back control of your health, hormones, weight, and reverse all the nasty symptoms, because it's absolutely possible and it absolutely can be done. So it doesn't really matter what your age is. It's the length of time you've been doing things that don't serve your body. So if this is intriguing to you, if you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I could do this. Yeah, that was me. And yes, you can. Okay. So it's exactly why Fit Menopause Method, we're getting started with the next group on June 30th. So if this is something that's intriguing to you, you want more information, drop FIT down below, FIT, in the comments, or direct message me and ask me questions, whatever. I'm happy to help, and I will get you that info. You do not want to miss this. The space is limited. But we're kicking off June 30th. All right. I'm going to be doing an info webinar coming up soon. If you want to get on that webinar, drop FIT down below and I will send you that information. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining me here on the Morning Pause. Every morning, 6:15 a.m. PST time, I am here because when to bring you the tips and tools that I've been sharing and living and sharing with my clients for almost 15 years now. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. All right. I hope your day is awesome. See you again tomorrow.